Hey y'all, happy Sunday. I hope that you are having a good start to your morning, that your week finished up well, and that you're doing all right. Now, before you think to yourself and ask, JT, are you wearing the same shirt as you wore in the last video? The answer to that question is yes. And let me explain. I am filming this video the same day that I filmed Wednesday's video, because I am going on a few-day camping trip from Thursday to Saturday and won't have time to film the video for Sunday after I film the video for Wednesday once I go on this trip. So I'm filming both videos in one day, and while yes, I could have changed shirts, I didn't want to. So I didn't. And I love this shirt because it's for the new Elevation Worship album, Graves into Gardens, which I highly recommend checking out. So, yeah. So if you're thinking, are you in the same shirt? Yes, I am. Because in my time, this is all happening on the same day. Y'all are just seeing it on different days. So, with that random rant out of the way, let's go ahead and get into our next installment of our Summer Words of Wisdom series. So, to recap, we started out talking about Proverbs as a whole book and the importance of wisdom and why we need it and why the book of Proverbs is a really good place for us to turn to when we need wisdom on how we should be living out our lives, what we should be doing, how we should be handling things, and what God thinks about important topics of our day-to-day lives. And then the first proverb that we really analyzed talked about laziness and what we should do about laziness, what God thinks about laziness, and how we can balance resting while working diligently with, not falling into laziness. And then on Wednesday's video, we talked about equality and what God thinks about equality and the importance of equality. And then that all leads us to this video. So today we're going to be diving into a topic that hits very close to home for me because I am not a patient person. And today we're going to be talking all about patience, because I think it is very easy for us to be impatient, especially given, the way that the world works today. I think that we live in a society and a time when instant gratification is like the thing. Like living here in Lubbock, if I want food from a restaurant but don't feel like going, sitting down, waiting to be served, all of that, I can just pull up my phone and get it delivered to me and get it right away. If I want to watch a movie, I can do it right away. If I want to listen to a specific song, can do it right away. If I want to buy something, I can order it on Amazon, have it here in 2 days. We live in such a society where instant gratification is such a thing. And I think that even bleeds into our relationships with people. We can now text or call people and have really intense, heavy, big, emotional conversations instantly. If we want to ask someone something, we don't have to wait until we see them again, or, plan out a time to, go and sit down and meet and talk with them. We can just shoot them a text and get the answer right away. And I think because of all of this, and because of the way things work, and because of technology and all of that, I think it has become even easier for all of us to become very impatient people. Again, my whole life have struggled with being very impatient. You can ask my parents, you can ask all my family, you can ask my friends. I'm not a patient person. I've been working really hard on becoming more patient, but I used to have this really bad joke that I would always say patience is a virtue, just not one that I have. And that's really bad, and I don't condone that, and that is something that I'm working on. But I'm just trying to be honest with y'all about patience has not been the easiest thing for me. But with all that, I decided to make the next topic that we tackled in this Summer Words of Wisdom series be patience, because I think patience is something that really we do need to talk about, and something that we all could, better understand and better handle in our day-to-day lives. So with that, to, look at patience, we're going to be looking at Proverbs chapter 14, verse 29. So if you want to, go ahead and grab your Bibles, and let's go ahead and take a look at that and dive right into what does the Bible say? What does God think about patience and, its importance? So let's take a look. Whoever is patient has great understanding, but one who is quick-tempered displays folly. Whoever is patient has great understanding. Young me did not have a lot of understanding, according to this proverb. But one who's quick-tempered displays folly. That would have been me. And what it means by folly is just like being a fool, seeming like you don't have control over your life, seeming like you haven't thought things through, you don't know what's going on. That's what's meant by folly. So what this proverb is saying, basically, is that whoever's patient, whoever just takes a minute, thinks about things, waits for things, just breathes for a minute, has great understanding, has taken the time to really think about things and process things, and is understanding that, there's that old saying of good things come to those who wait, and understands that in reality, we can't get everything we want instantaneously. Everything in our lives can't play out immediately. You have to think about like getting a degree. Like high school, you have to go through 4 years of it. You don't just get to rush through it real quick and then like, ta-da, you're done. Same with undergrad, same with, so many other degrees. Or think about getting promoted as a job. You're not just going to right away get promoted to being CEO of a company after a week of being there. Like, with patience has great understanding. You understand that you have to work. You have to think about things. You have to be careful with things. You have to be diligent. You have to, trust in God's plan. And that with doing that, those good things will come to you. Those blessings will come to you. You'll earn that degree. You'll get that promotion. You'll, get whatever it is that you were waiting for. And then it says, but the one who is quick-tempered displays folly. If you are just getting upset at things, right away, if you just want everything immediately, if you, are just blowing up and rushing through things, then that shows that you aren't taking the time to really think about things and think about your words, your actions, your thoughts, not thinking about how that will affect others. You are not thinking about the reality of, okay, if I put in the work, if I put in the time, if I put in the effort, and if I wait, and if I trust God, the blessing will come. But instead you're just thinking like, oh, I'll just handle this on my own. I deserve this right now. And that's wrong. That's not how it works. That's not how life works. That's a very false way to view things. And so I think what this proverb is really trying to tell us is we need to get better in our lives about just taking a minute to breathe and taking the time to trust God and trust God's timing and trust God's process. It's really easy to fall into comparison and see, oh, well, this person, is in a great relationship, but I'm not. Or this person has this kind of job, but I don't. Or this person has already graduated, but I haven't. And it's easy to fall into those comparisons, and then that leads to impatience of like, but God, like, they have it. I want it too. I want that relationship. I want that degree. I want that job. And by doing that, you're basically saying like, God, what you're doing isn't good enough. It isn't right. My way's better. And that's not true. Like, God's plan is the perfect plan. And so, but by being impatient, we're basically disregarding that and saying that we don't care about that. And that's not okay. We need to work instead on being patient, because what that's showing is that saying like, hey, God, I may be a little frustrated right now, but I trust you. I trust your plan. And I trust that what you have planned is better than what I see around me and what I can get immediately. The enemy loves to be able to trick us and promise us, greater things, quote unquote, quicker. But it's all false. And, by being patient and by understanding that, sometimes we have to wait for things. Sometimes we need to wait to have a conversation with someone about how we've been hurt over something or how we're frustrated over something they've done. Sometimes we need to just wait and continue to put in the work, and eventually we will get that promotion, we will get that job, we will get that degree. We just have to trust that the right person is out there to, find and fall in love with and marry. You don't have to rush it. There's so many things that being patient for can bring so much greater of a blessing into your life, instead of trying to rush and do everything on your own and thinking that you know better and thinking that you deserve for everything to be resolved, figure out, done right that moment. Because that's a very prideful way to view things. And that's, as this proverb says, like, that displays folly. Like, that's not a good way to be going through life. That's not a healthy way to be going through life. And that's not a God-honoring way to be going through life. So I think all of us can be a lot better about, just taking time to be patient, to pray over things constantly, to just breathe and trust God and continue doing what we're doing and trust that He has a timing and plan for everything. And, take time to think before we speak and act, rather than sending that nasty text or, posting that shady post. Like, just take time to be patient and think and process and understand and trust God above all, because that will lead us to so much greater understanding and so much greater blessing in our lives if we will just be patient. And like I said, that's something that I've struggled with for a long time to understand, something that I've struggled with figuring out. And you just have to take it one step at a time and trust that it'll all work out the way that it's supposed to. And also be okay with, just letting things happen at the pace that they're going to happen, and not thinking that you deserve that instant gratification, because we don't always, and that's okay. So, yeah, patience is a virtue that we should all have. So with that, like I've done in the last two videos, I'm going to be leaving some discussion questions at the end that I think you should really take the time to answer, to think through, and really, again, thoughtfully answer these. Really take time to sit and think about this and, come up with your answers. And then again, I really encourage you to talk about your answers with a friend. Share it with them. We've talked about accountability and community so much in previous sermons, and I think you really should be doing this. You should really take the time to have that community and grow that really good godly community and those really good godly relationships. But talking about topics like this and, talk about your answers to these questions with your friends, with your community. So with that, again, patience is so important and is critical in all of our lives, as difficult as it may be. And I hope that you'll really think about that and really work on starting to apply that in your lives, because it's not easy, but it does make things a lot better. And yeah, with that, I will see y'all in the next video. Yeah, bye.